Let's go ahead. Let's hear you.
Julius, my name is Baba B. Kamara. I'm the chairman of the Public Relations Committee of the Montreal chapter of the United Party.
Let's hear you.
Julius, I think who have been shared a lot when it comes to the supplementary payroll. What I will speak on here is the issue that has to do with the budget in relation to how CDC as an opposition political party is supposed to use the budget.
I knew that. I think you're going to go. Go ahead.
Smart government, and you know exactly, being the state for all, and you know exactly what are the goals of a serious opposition political party in terms of engaging the good establishment. You ask the question, why CDC is not engaging when it comes to the budget? The answer is simple. You saw Mametis folks play around, you couldn't give anything substantive. The reason is that CDC led the country for 6 years, and it did not substantive to move the country forward. So the really do not have what it takes in terms of quality, in terms of moral, to want to anything.
No, quality, but they should have quality. They have people that can analyze the budget. If you talk about moral, that's a thing to look at, but they have quality. They should.
Yeah. Well, the reason why, I'm not saying they are short of people who will do analysis on the budget, but they have quality of people who could do that. But they do not have the moral. The moral now is diminishing.
Maybe they're still feeling bad. Maybe they're still feeling bad. You know, sometimes there are some losses that can hurt. Before you come back to yourself, you're going to be easy.
No, but it's not the case. They don't keep up on all deals. After the first year,
my man, lead that one. The same way the post, for the post, I say 24 years, 18 and 12. And I says, you all lead up 20 years. And I think I'm a labyrinth vessel.
We know what we are saying, Julius.
Okay.
Some of us were the Unity, even some of us were the Unity Party, right? Some of my position in the Unity Party. But I have some issues with specific aspects of the budget. The question is reduction in terms of expenditure, yes, to support it, but there are some reductions that are very exorbitant.
Okay.
For example,
No, let me just hold you there. Our guest is here. Let me take the final call. I can't keep holding him. You know, the man got plenty of things to talk. The final one, welcome quickly.
yeah, thank you, Jesus.
What's your name?
Jerry, this is Jerry the man if I call you from Monrovia.
The South Korean train. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, the KDI school, one of the prestigious institutions in Asia and the
You
world.
must be that the thing I finish you. Ain't see the paper now start naming the commissioners from some township. We come and send you refugee as not the commissioners.
I will be happy to be fellow governor. I'm the fellow governor already.
Oh, go ahead. Let's hear you quickly.
Yeah, but two things quickly. Let me say firstly, one thing maybe you have not realized that is there's a huge unemployment in government already by the Ministry of Finance and Development Plan. And the last time I checked, that freeze has not been, lifted. And also there's no way that people at the Ministry of State will want to hire people as a result, of maybe getting people off. The first thing is a total failure. Finance were here in this country telling you there was a budget surplus. But then you could not put civil servants that are at the Ministry of State on payroll. It's a total failure of the government. Meanwhile, we say Blamo and other people brought their relatives and check people to employ them. Other people that were, those people we're talking about, now these are people that nobody has interest in. Because all of the people in government at the time saw it as a need. So this government has complained in this country about the issue of the wage bill. What are those that we are paying are real people? See how the people are boasting of budget surplus and they could not employ these people. The government is making frantic efforts. It's making frantic efforts to ensure that the private sector, these are engagement, these people,
Okay.
the country.
Thanks so kindly, Jerry Nipa. That's why he said, please tell more to visit Waterside. The situation there to do, I don't call it actually all over the place. Sorry, the interest is high, but we will continue all of these. Tomorrow we have with us Montserrat County Senator Abe Darius Dillon. Welcome, sir.
Thank you again, Julius.
Yeah.
I'm not hearing myself. Is my mic on?
Yeah, it is on. I think I'll bring it up small to you.
Okay. I'm still not hearing myself, but let me change. I can.
Yeah, I think change your headphone.
Yeah, thank you.
But Why are you coming for the few years? It is like you rushed somewhere these few years.
You let go.
Yeah, but we saw the picture and then people were, oh, yeah, no, you cannot put it on. Put it on first. Yeah, it should be on there.
Okay. So let me say good afternoon and thank you for the invitation. Your lifestyle needs to be audited. You are well dressed.
But I've always been well dressed. Even for Family Radio days.
No.
But you can see the code. You see the code.
It should be on improving. But I am just saying you're getting far under the government. But thank you, Julius. And let me say good afternoon to listeners on the radio in Monrovia, Liberia. We want to recognize that this interview or conversation is being simulcast on Bourgeois Radio, 98.1.
Welcome to the folks from Bourgeois Radio.
And I'm getting indication that Saclay Radio 101.5.
Yeah, okay, I think so. Okay, yeah. Someone sent me a message from that.
They said they're relaying it free.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So we say thanks so kindly to all of you there from Nimba County, from Bourgeois Radio, and our regular followers. We say welcome. Let us start with the callback. The president has called you people back. I was thinking, I don't know if the executive can have break. Why does the legislature have breaks? Is that something to look at?
Yeah, the executive is the country administration. If you look at the Constitution, the executive power of the Republic is vested in one person. Article 50 of the Constitution. The executive power of the Republic is vested in the President, who shall be head of state, head of government, commander-in-chief. The Article 29 says that the legislative power of the Republic is vested in the legislature, in the institution. Majority must take decision before something happens. Same with the Supreme Court. Article 65. The judicial power of the Republic is vested in the institution they call the Supreme Court, in the judiciary, and on the Supreme Court bench, 3 at least must take decision before something is final. So the executive effectively runs the country. So the executive does not take break. In democracies around the world, the legislature goes on break. In fact, there are some places where legislature is like a contract thing. You're settled on one issue, you're going. The period you're going for, they don't pay you. And especially state legislatures, especially in America that I know. But for Congress is right now on Easter break. And they take breaks from time to time. Parliaments around the world do that. And for the judiciary, when they say the court,
the term of court,
they leave one person in charge, in chamber, and then there's a little break there, even though they're working behind the scene. When we go on break, committees are allowed to work, even while on break. But the committee work cannot take effect if it will require plenary endorsement. So the committee will work, but then we'll have to wait for plenary to do the endorsement. So for instance, we did some confirmation hearings during the short break we had, but committee can only hold hearings, but the endorsement of the committee's report or recommendations can only be done by plenary. For the last 2 years, I have been joking ourselves in the Senate. It is a law until we change it. We go on break, Easter break, so we got to make it clear first. Long before the UP-Ellen government took power, the legislature used to go on 4-5 months break, they call agricultural break. By 2008, there about 2010, under the UP-Ellen government, the legislature removed the thing they call agricultural break to constituency break. So it's not agricultural break. Richard Heaven and those boys, all of them almost have farm, so they used to do their farm thing, they go on agricultural break. But these days, modern time, lawmakers don't necessarily have farm. So it was changed to constituency break. Now, And the break used to come from August to January the following year. And that was because sometimes from September to January the following year. That was because we were running a fiscal year from June 30, from July 1 to June 30 the following year. So when the legislature passed on the budget by August, September, they go on break, nothing much to do again until they return in January. Now we are running a calendar fiscal year from January to December. So this legislature, of which I am a part, what we did, we split that long break at the end of the year into 3 parts, 3 quarters. Easter break, Independence Day, July break, and then the final break at the end of the year. It is why it is for now, until we review it again later and make sense of it a little more. Because if we want to break for Easter, our current break, first quarterly break, we're going to make us return May 10. So it's like you go on Easter break and Jesus Christ, for whom you want to break, he not die, he resurrect, he gone back to heaven, and you stay on break. Even in Israel and Jerusalem, they both gone back, they parliament and gone back to session, you know. But it is what it is for now. As time goes by, we will look at these things, especially so with the pressing needs and demands and issues in the country that require legislative action. As time goes by, we may conform to the reality at the time. But I want to thank the president for this recall. Thankfully, Jesus went back to heaven yesterday, and we are back to work almost immediately to do the bidding for our people, hopefully.
And two of the key things, the budget and the issue of the war economic crime scope. That's what I heard. Or there are others?
There are other things. We include confirmation to populate the government with people who we deem to be in government. Of course, I'm a member of the Judiciary Committee. I'm also a member of the Committee on Defense, Security, and Intelligence Veteran Affairs. These two committees, in a joint faction, we are reviewing the petition from the House so that we can make sense of it and make and proffer the suggestion that's good for the country. And I will prejudice my own view already, to be very blunt, that I am pushing for the establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Court for Liberia. As a member of the Judiciary Committee, as a member of the Defense, Security, and Intelligence Committee, the joint committee that is reviewing these things, we're looking forward to the Senate taking an elderly, meaning, and they say the House of Elders. We're looking forward to the committee putting all the cards on the table. We'll be very meticulous about it. We will not allow public sentiment or politics to play. We can understand that the House has acted, and everyone is looking at the Senate.
Albeit through a resolution. I am a little still hazy over how is the whole war crimes court thing supposed to start?
The thing is, we've done a TRC. We have a TRC law. And the TRC law says all recommendations of the TRC shall be implemented. Shall, a very compelling legal language, legal word. It is a may, it says shall be implemented. One of the counts in the TRC recommendation is that there's need for further investigation through a special tribunal of people who are accused or being held or bearing greater responsibility. Now the TRC says the President of Liberia is on a legal mandate to report to the legislature quarterly on how the implementation of the recommendations are progressing or proceeding.
Has that been happening since Ellen to George we are to now?
Well, not necessarily. So President Joseph Nima Bouaka is on that legal obligation in the spirit of continuity, government being continuity, right? It is now upon President Joseph Nima Boakai to report to the legislature on what he's doing with the TRC recommendations and how he is implementing the recommendations, and if or where there's hurdles or obstacles and require legislative action to implement, then we come in. So the House's resolution is suggesting that we want the War Crimes Code. The president is under legal obligation to tell us how he is implementing the War Crimes Code, the recommendations. Now, we are reviewing these things to make sense of it from an analyst standpoint, and then take the appropriate action along with the House and let the president kick the ball rolling.
So it's like, if we must have the War Economic Crimes Code, it has to be a law, right? Is it?
So a code can only be established by the legislature.
Okay.
It is within the province of the legislature, meaning it is within the office of authority, constitutional authority of the legislature to enact codes. In the enactment of those codes, of any such code, we should be careful not to take any authority assigned by the Constitution to the Supreme Court of Liberia. Now, the president will have to tell us whether he has started Palawa Hut engagement as contained in the TRC issue.
He could talk about the one that happened under President Sirleaf.
No, he will have to talk about the one that happened under him, or if he's reporting progress that was made from Madam Sirleaf and President George Weah.
Because I know there was some palaver.
So President Joseph Nima Boakai is under legal obligation. It is not his choice. He's under legal obligation to bring us up to speed as to the status of the implementation. Whether his predecessor started something or not, whether he's starting on a clean slate or not, he's under obligation to report to the legislature on the manner of implementation of the TRC recommendations. And I'm of the view that part of his information to the legislature should be or will be, in order for me to prosecute people who are deemed to bear greater responsibility, the TRC recommendation requires the establishment of a tribunal. I am sending a bill for this tribunal, or I'm asking the legislature to do this tribunal or the court. It is upon the president. The legislature will have to, especially the Senate, will have to summon the courage to put it back on the lap of the president and say, tell us what's your implementation of the TRC recommendation so far and what we need to do. We must summon our courage. Julius, the culture of impunity in our country must end.
No, let me bring you back to a key point. But the legislature, since you have the constitutional responsibility of enacting codes,
yeah,
one of you could proffer a bill as well for the establishment of a War Economic Crimes Code, isn't it?
Very true. So we will not shy away or run away from it. I am trying to work along with the Bar Association. So it will not have to appear like a Darius Dillon thing. Under President Weah's regime, I proffer a bill for the enactment and the legal existence of the National Food Assistance Authority. The Senate and the Agriculture Committee of the Senate and the Agricultural Ministry made sense of that bill and it passed the Senate. 2 years, it stayed before the House without concurrence. It is only today, Julius, that I've understood clearly why the House simply could not concur on the passage of that bill so it can be sent to the executive marshal. I was informed today that it was deliberate. Dillon bill will not pass into law because he will get political capital. So what am I saying here? A submission of a bill of this nature, hoping that if it comes through us, should not be seen as a Darius Dillon bill. You want politicized things, you want your name to be. But we have honor obligation. If the president with snail pace on this issue, one of us, few of us together, must summon the courage to put it on the floor.
There is international pressure on all of it. They were the Americans, the Smith, Congressman Smith last week said something. The lady who was there also went in. They are using some flowery words on the government yet, but it is a form of diplomatic pressure that, we know you're doing the right things, but we want this to be done, that kind of language. It's a playing a part too.
Well, it shouldn't play a part even if it is.
You need financial assistance though.
Yeah, no, so I'm coming. There are certain norms that are not written, man. But civilization, common sense tells us there is no written law that nobody should urinate in a living room. Common sense civilization tells you when you see somebody urinating in a living room, they either charged or they're mentally unstable because it is not normal to do that. As a people, a government, a country and people, there are certain things we do not need to be pressured by international people to tell us how to govern ourselves. And that's why we're coming. The culture of impunity in our country must end. We must do this court not because we're targeting any particular person or group of persons. We must do this court so that it will serve as deterrent. Justice, application of justice does not suggest that somebody must be guilty. Due process must be applied, served, and the outcome of that hearing, we should have the courage to live with it. Due process could vindicate you, or the evidence strong against you could convict you. That's justice. But if we do not do this thing, doing bad to this country will seem to be the way to go, will seem to be the career. If you're 90 years old, and we establish this court, and we take you before this court to answer questions for acts you did in keeping with the jurisdiction of the court, even when you are 30 years old, somebody will say, that thing when you do, I don't care how old you may be, there's a very likelihood that you will face justice. We got to do it to serve as deterrent.
Okay, do it to serve as deterrent. The voice of Senator Darius Dillon. We move on to the biggest policy document.
So don't go there yet. We got to make something clear for at least 30 seconds to a minute. The president of Liberia cannot pass executive order to establish a court.
Okay.
Let's get it clear. The president can pass executive order to put some things in motion that the establishment of the court by the legislature, should we reach that point,
to enhance it,
and the time will be taken to put all of those things together to establish the court, and the executive order could be, handling some other issues that may not require a standing law. But the president cannot sign one executive order today to establish a court. It only happens in a military dictatorial government.
Okay, good. That one was placed on the record. Now, the budget is before you, the legislature. You've always pushed for a programmatic budget or a program-based kind of budget. Do you see this as such, and what are the areas you will be focusing on?
Thank you. My advocacy yesterday for Atema's program-based budget was not to showcase myself and to prove that opposition to the real regime. my advocacy yesterday for program-based budget, item-based budget, was simply because it will help for us to know what we're doing and how to track and account for what we're doing, how we're spending public money, and how impactful it is. And that the people can appreciate that what they're seeing, what they're enjoying, what they're benefiting from, if they will benefit, it is their money, it is their resources. Simple, plain and simple. And so that advocacy, I'm a champion of it. Whether it was George Weah yesterday, whether it's Joseph Boakai today. Program-based budget will tell us the vision that the administration has for the country for the calendar year, the fiscal year. Item-based budget will tell us the impact. And without sounding repetitive, for lack of time, if I put in $1 million in the budget, or voting for $1 million in the budget, I let you harm on anything so it can make sense to people. If I'm voting for $1 million in the budget on a Ministry of Education for armchairs, tell me how many, the quantity of armchairs that $1 million will produce. That's itemized. And out of the quantity that 1 million armchairs or $1 million quantity armchairs will produce, if say 25,000, then you gotta tell me out of the 25,000, how many armchairs go into public schools in Monserrado County, which district and which public school?
That's how it should be.
That's how it should be. If I give you $1 million to go to armchairs, no explanation, no quantity. Oh, okay, the 25,000 armchairs out of the 1 million, 5,000 will come to Monserrado. 500 will go to Boswell. 300 will go to Detour. 100 will go to Topman High. I can track it. And then we, the lawmakers, we can inform our constituents, the schools, that this budget year we have provided $1 million for armchairs. 300 armchairs will go to Sonui High School, for the, just calling name. 200 will go to Mavisoni in Clarendon. When their armchairs go in there, the student will know that their taxes, their resources, they're seeing it. They're beginning to benefit from it, at least from the educational standpoint. If you ask me to give you $1 to pay domestic debt, once you ask for $1, it means you know what you will do with the $1, who you will pay. You know who you're paying it to. Show me the list. If you don't do it, you don't get my cooperation, you don't have my support. So our advocacy of yesterday was not because of our dislike for President Weah. It was simply because we wanted, and if we do program-based budget, this year budget will say, for instance, our program this year is to focus on empowering Liberian small businesses. We may not give loans, but since we're buying furniture across the country, across government this year, for instance, is $5 million. For instance, we will buy local made furniture. That's $5 million to Liberian business people right here. And if after a year or two we come and buy furniture again, and we say the next time we come here, your furniture should improve. In improving the quality of the furniture, they will be employing more Liberians. They will be expanding their business. And in expansion of their business, Liberians will get employed.
But this budget doesn't seem to meet that standard. Maybe a new government and the time and all of that. Do you forgive them on this one and hope that the 2025 budget will meet those standards as well?
So we will give some slack, but not 100% slack. There is no reason for slack on domestic debt. There is no reason for slack on domestic debt. But so the amount projected for agriculture is small. 5 million or so. It could make sense to the ordinary mind who will not ask a question. What is the program for agriculture? Is there any program submitted by the Minister of Agriculture or the administration that can be costed by a budget? Or will you just put $20 million in the budget for agriculture, but no program, no policy, anything? And if $5 million is projected, there are other institutions of the government that are tied with the agriculture sector. The agriculture ministry is not the sector. It is only the government arm to help regulate the sector. You have CARI, you have the Corporate Development Authority, the CDA. You have different agriculture agricultural institutions that are part of the sector. And when you put all the projections together, they find more than 5 million. But to just dump money in the agricultural sector in the name of increasing the amount for agriculture without having a program, implementable program, in my view as a senator, it doesn't make sense to me.
Okay. Now, so the question about what are the key areas you're going to be focusing on?
Right. I'm a fan and passionate fan of rehabilitation.
And that's one of the government's
correct
key policies.
Correct. Drug abuse, rehabilitation. A lawmaker is not an executive official. You're not the president. You got to take one thing and run with it. While you trying to be involved with other things, you have to have a legacy issue. Well, I want to make rehabilitation the fight against drugs and rehabilitating our people mental health issues as a brand. By the time you talk about rehabilitation of drug business, Darius Dillon should come to mind. So that's one of the things. Am I going to be favored by civil servant to sit on his mark and say, it is not possible to increase your money this year? That's not something pleasant that civil servants want to hear. But it is the realistic fact and truth that it may not be possible this year. Am I going to sit and allow a budget to pass that even my own Senate, my own house, where I am as a senator, I get a budget for the Senate version for us to break our own budget down first? They are doing a year, I got to be hiding, or we got to be clarifying ourselves what we're drawing down on our own budget. We got to open this budget. We got to seek input. We got to get consultancy in our input on this budget to set the stage. Why we will be a little slack with the executive on this first budget because of the time and all of that stuff, that it will not be 100% sympathy.
Now, still on this recall, are you getting fully paid?
No.
Or partially paid?
Partially.
I am asking because it is important for this to be public so that the employees working with you too can be aware that you're not being fully paid.
Yeah, we are not being fully paid. We have been considerate to the current reality. So we may likely get 50% of what the recall compensation would have normally been. We have not received a dime yet.
And that may apply to
of course the staff.
Okay.
The staff are working too. They're entitled. They should be entitled.
Senator Amarcon has been quite critical, like you being a new senator then, of some of you, his colleagues, the rescue senators and the hope for change the opposition senators, that most of you have been locked down in issues of jobs, you know, and not really seeking the interests of your employees or the other issues affecting the state, and he thinks that hasn't been too okay, that hasn't been too good.
My colleague has a point, and we are seeking his favor. My colleague is a politician. I am. I'm not in the judiciary. During the campaign, I was the lead of this campaign in Montserrat County to remove the past regime. And I campaigned as a politician in the name of an institution with people following me, with our leader, Nyompi Kangalon. We are politicians, we are a political institution. When you win election, you govern. And you govern through placing your people. So Senator Amara Corner is right. When we, the politicians, if we're not seeking placements for our people, maybe you will be saying, all the suffer, the poor suffer beyond that.
Well, some of us started mounting that pressure from the early days.
Exactly. So I want to agree with my colleague that we're pushing the interests of our constituents, our people, our partisans to be placed. You win election, you go on. When you put them in place, you start to hold them accountable, especially from the legislative standpoint. It will only take courage to do that.
The issues of conflict of interest when it comes to the sending for the hearings and all those kinds of things don't play a part.
You know, if you follow, especially, I'm not trying to be a hero here. If you follow confirmation hearings at the legislature, even the most educated nominee don't want to confront Senator Dillon. Ask Dr. Sano. He has to drink water and go to the bathroom for my questions. Of course. Ask Mo Ali. I asked him to do communication, written communication in 3 newspapers for going to water and sewer to Allah you already working when you have not been confirmed. And everybody knows my friendship, brotherhood with Mo Ali. When it comes to the authority granted me by the people the grace, I don't joke with it. I don't joke with it. So, yes, Amara is right. I'm sure Amara is making some recommendations for some people who believe in him, including Babolo County. He's a politician. Amara is right. The pay grade at the Capitol building is not a happy one for our staff. Amara is right.
And that is the proverbial first branch of government.
Amara is right. When I was a staff in the building, I engaged all the 30 senators, including my former boss, Joel Howard Taylor. Each of the senators agreed to go in plenary session and increase the staff money. The late Jaredin Doe Sheriff, you name them, all of them. But you know what was interesting? When they came from session one day, they said, plenary changed the decision. I said, no. Plenary is when all of you gather formally to go make a decision that is formal. If each of you agree for us to raise the staff salary, plenary is not a desk and a chair. Plenary is an assembly of you coming together to make that decision collectively.
So if all of you agree,
if each of you agreed individually, when you come together collectively,
then it's other parts.
The desk and the chairs can be blamed in the name of plenary change the decision. So Amara is talking about raise in staff incentive. I'm talking about it. Nyombi Kanga Lawrence leadership is looking at it. About chair is talking about it. You name it. Every small, we're all talking about it. Now the fact that we're all talking about it, I hope plenary will not change the decision.
Now, are you somewhat happy that the opposition lawmakers seem to be giving you people too much of holidays, giving you some slack? I'm not sure I'm seeing them being as tough as you all were in opposition.
And I think one of your last callers before I came on was talking about maybe they don't have the moral to talk. Hey, lead moral business in governance and politics. Chief, I'm a Christian. I'm not a devout Christian, so I don't claim to be pious. But my Christian belief tells me that Jesus Christ is the Son of God. And Satan is the devil, and Satan is a liar. If Satan appears here now with a horn and identify him as Satan, and he says, Dillon, Jesus Christ is the Son of God, that means must say that loud because Satan dog it. Jesus Christ is the Son of God. I don't care whether Satan says it, whether he's faking to say it, whether he's tricking to say it. Jesus Christ is the Son of God. At that point, who says it doesn't matter to me. If my girl, a Bill Twaway, stand up today and demand domestic debt list, I will listen. I won't ask them about morality. Because to demand domestic debt list is the right way to go. But I won't say they lack moral standing. You see, sometimes you lost an opportunity, but the experience gained from losing out on that opportunity is what should matter. Maybe McGill then realizing that if they were giving domestic debt list, they were going to disarm Senator Dillon from one of the talking points and one of the advocacy, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe they realized that if they were open with a budget, transparent, program-based budget, itemized budget, then we wouldn't have president project. We will have government project. The armchairs, the transformer for LEC that were going in the community through Thomas Faraday and Magede, it was not going to be president project. It was going to be government project. The people are going to appreciate all of those kind of things. So they may have got experience that it won't do it the right way. We did not do it the right way. We will hold the other people accountable who were holding us accountable to do it the right way. If Satan tells me Jesus Christ is the Son of God, I will not argue with Satan. I will just move on.
Before we go to the last, I want to interact with you a little more. Are you concerned about reports from the executive mansion Representative Yekekol came up with some coupon report, the one a letter that came out for NASCAR, from the executive mansion? Are you concerned about those?
Of course. Why shouldn't we be concerned? The Constitution says that what happens in one house, they got their own rules and all that stuff. That's what the Constitution says. And in the other house, we got rules. The only time we can concur with one another when it comes to lawmaking and all that other stuff and other leadership issues. What's happening in the house and what we see and hear flying around is concerning. The leadership of the House of Representatives must mandate and insist on the Ministry of State speaking to this issue and saying why the Ministry of State is purchasing furniture for members of the House.
Allegedly.
Well, the Ministry of State must speak.
It seems to me that you have enough information to believe that it is true.
The Ministry of State must speak. The ministry can't keep silent. The ministry speaks through the spokesperson at the executive mansion. The Ministry of State is about the presidency of Liberia. And when something tries to impugn on the character, reputation of the presidency and the president, it is upon the press secretary and the Ministry of State to speak. Lawmakers, for the first time, as though you had a lawmaker show here, I think with Clarence Jackson, lawmakers from the lower house, claims and counterclaims. Claims and counterclaims. Video footage. People clearly seen on video admitting that this is from the Ministry of State. Silence will not help. Should not help. Speak to this matter. And if somebody did it unknown to the president, he must act.
Like he has acted in the case of the FIA, the National Intelligence Agency, where he suspended the post for allegations of fraud.
And I applaud the president for that bold move. That's what we should be doing. Set the example. Don't say it too soon. If you want a tree to grow straight, when you see it bending from a young stage, straighten it.
What do you make of the different errors that have been coming from the executive national appointment? Sometimes they send, there's one person before the Senate, they send another person there. These different double appointments to different places, or they send this name and then in a couple of days they withdraw it. They say this one supersedes all other previous appointments.
I've said this again and again. There may be a learning curve, there may be some deliberate errors, but it's not right. It's not right. We need to buckle up. You know, one of the asset credentials we saw Joseph Boaga on experience. Senator Abe Darius Dillon will never cast blame on anybody around the president when the president signed a communication. If it is by directive of the president signed by an authorized person, okay, I can consider looking at it from that perspective. But signed by the president, and if it is found that it is not what the president wanted, and nobody gets administratively punished, then it is the president's doing. Period. And we need to correct it.
His name is Darius Dillon, Senator of Mosavado County. Let's take a few calls right here on the OK Conversation on OKFM 99.5. 777-700-995, 555-995. This person says, say you are a bit at least you were able to hear him. I don't know why. But this person is saying, please ask the senator what does he make of the appointment of Coco to Ministry of Mines and Energy. Okay, welcome. Let's hear you. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, Governor Jesus. I'm Lawrence. I'm calling from Happy Highway.
Lawrence who?
Lawrence Bay.
Go ahead.
You know, I like the part when the senator said when the devil tells him that Jesus, when Jesus is Son of God, he will believe it. It doesn't matter who's saying it. But those say when the devil of person where I was saying he will be or made them he criticized it. When he said let us take community rule, he said what everyone fighting for those rules.
Did he, Senator Dillon, criticize the building of community rule?
Yes.
Okay.
If you're commenting.
Okay.
The criticize it. So you see.
No. That he didn't win. So you shouldn't say they. When you say they, man. Okay.
The last one I read, somebody got this dismissed from last one for disrespect the presidency. But I hear what you know how to say concerning those things.
No, maybe because I didn't ask him the question. But thanks so kindly for bringing it up. He's right here. He will answer. Let's take a few more. Welcome. What's her name?
Good afternoon. Julius Frank Gibson and I call from Paris. Good afternoon, Senator Dillon.
Go ahead.
I hope the economy of Joseph Boaga have not started going to the toilet. We cannot say that yet because we have not reached the first 100 days. But what we are saying is that it is getting close to the separate end for now. Now, Senator Dillon, you talk about moral just now that you don't think I still to be correct on this. You don't think the opposition lawmaker has the moral to speak?
No, that's not what he said. He said someone called in before he came and was talking about they may not have the moral. And he was saying when it comes to politics, it is not necessarily about moral, it's about the issues at hand now and what someone is saying about them.
Oh, thank you for the correction because we're straight on that point because he said that Dillon himself doesn't have the moral.
But that element, so don't you shouldn't say that one. That was not what he said.
Now, Senator Dillon, thank you very much. I just want to ask this little bit of this question, please. Now, the president set an asset recovery team. The manner in which these guys are going on doing their job, is the Senate concerned? Is there any other step that the Senate can take to call them to book after what the judge or the how they call it, the judiciary have done?
Okay, thanks. So kindly, let's go to this line. Welcome. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Thank you, my good friend and brother Judah. This is Abe. Let me say thank you so much, and let me say good evening to my former friend, Mr. Dillon.
But why the man your former friend?
No, he know that one. He know what made him to be my former friend.
That one between you.
You cannot force friendship on anybody. He know what I'm saying.
My man, okay,
he know what between you. He see where he will call me, and he know what he's saying. You know, all our people can say on air. But anyway, purposely I call to commend Mr. Dillon. You know, always when we were even in the driving seat, I used to commend him when he do the commendable things. There where people can know about leadership. That's why, because sometimes when they say the thing in front of the supporters, then behind the scene in the night, then they can be talking differently. I hope he will not be part of that. But why he just proved me right now up to the Liberian people in me that he's doing well. I have to just praise him because he's doing something for me, no. But if you in the interest of the Liberian people and you supporting somebody and they're doing it wrong and you say, I will commend you for that. Because the government came to power on a matter of experience. And they're not showing no experience at all. They just learning on things. It is grateful. And he's saying it. And that is the truth. They need to improve on that. It means that we want to criticize. I hear the people that say, oh, the opposition now want to criticize. Opposition will criticize. Particularly with the mean opposition, George Weah, you know George Weah character, he let noise. And he was like other opposition, like even the president now we get.
He does not even know how to criticize. So let's just leave it on.
But like what I'm saying, I say he not in that behavior. Even now, Mr. Pwaka offered job to George Weah. He will accept it. I know him. He will say for the interest of the Liberian people, I will hold it, I will work. That is the man we know, George Weah. All men the country not nothing. Okay. Because George Weah is one of the forms that people can be a fellow.
Thanks. So kindly, we'll hold you there. Let's go international and we'll come back. We'll take one more and then we are out. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Good evening, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, what's your name?
Good evening to the Senator in studio. I'm Thomas William calling from Minnesota.
Go ahead.
I don't into the show late. I don't know what the Senator spoke on this. But I want you to give his perspective about the asset recovery function, the way the manner of it is proceeding. And my second question has to do with I want the Senator to address the issue you spoke on it before. Government asset. Car that government bought, brand new car, because government policies and government does not buy old car. After 3 years, those expensive cars you spend taxpayer money on, according to the policy, they say it is depreciated, fully depreciated in 3 years, and the owner of the car has first preference as it relates to functioning the car on GSA. I want the Senator to speak on this again because the other time he said it.
Okay, thanks. So kindly we'll hold you right there because of time. We'll go back to him. There are some things for him to address. I know when he's here, the interest is always high, but sorry, folks, we have to go back to him.
Thank you, Julius. How can I respond to Frank Gibson, who didn't even comprehend what I said? So
yeah, but at least the man understood it because I explained it.
So there's no need to explain to him. Because he finally understood that the thing about coming to a program with a mindset. Well, thank you for the invitation. My view on the asset recovery issue is pointed and is very clear. Except that as a lawmaker and as a public official, I will refrain from speaking to this issue since it is sub-judice. It is before the court, and the court has taken steps with this issue, and I think the court initial steps are welcome.
Okay.
I'm a proponent and a big fan of Article 20A of the Constitution of Liberia, and it says the right to life, liberty, freedom, property. It is a constitutional fundamental right that cannot be, it should not be denied, deprived, unless it is the outcome of a judicial process and you know, done through due process. But I will help the asset recovery team do a complete stock and inventory of what you believe to be government property. Or, you know, when the asset recovery team asked for $1.9 million, the country was, oh, the German go eat. Take $500,000 or $1 million and retrieve more than $1 trillion. How? Put $20,000 down for information. Anybody who get information where government asset is, where person who are in government build houses and they hiding it. If you show us a credible and we retrieve it, we get 20,000. But plenty $20,000. The thing where Julius got that he can't account for, it will count. Many common sense approach to things can even achieve. But the matter itself is now in court. So we will be careful, especially public officials like me, how to respond to it. But the asset recovery thing can succeed. It should succeed. We should support it. But they should come up with a clear TOR. They should come up with a clear roadmap, and they should identify what they're going for and not appear to be guessing.
Okay. Someone asked about against your school court, Lance and Myers not having the experience of working in that place. What are you playing a part in the appointment process and all that?
Well, the president appointed Agashas, and it's being handled by the marshal and the ministry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks so kindly, sir, for accepting our invite.
Thank you, my brother.
Okay, that's how we go, Senator Darius Dillon. Tomorrow is another day right here.